The sun is shining on the Bears' asses, man. That is
yes, it is.
What a few days for the Chicago Bears. What a few days they've had. I haven't been this optimistic, big picture optimistic about the Bears in I can't tell you how long. I really don't know how long.
Luck be a lady tonight.
Right?
Lovey's out here helping you out. You do what you needed to do. Your plan ends up working. You get the number one pick in the draft. You have other GMs out here talking about, we desperately need a quarterback and we'll do whatever it takes to get one. You end up making a hire that looks like a really smart hire. These are good times for the Bears.
And there will be accountability for Ryan Poles too.
Yeah, I like that.
That's the thing. He's the top football guy. But this dude, Kevin Warren, is not a rubber stamp.
That is the case. That is what you hear from people who know him maybe better than we do. And that's good. Like that's what you want. You want someone running the Bears that has football experience, that has league experience, that isn't easily fooled. And I'm not trying to diss Ted. And I've been one of the more like ardent defenders of Ted because I think that he's done a good job of protecting that family sometimes from itself and handling their money and growing their money. But even inside of that, there's so much that's been left on the table by the Bears as an organization that I think Kevin Warren is going to be able to maximize.
I also think, and I will say it because it needs to be said, and it matters, particularly in the NFL. In this league, in a league where 70% of the players are black, to have this heritage franchise, to have a black president and CEO and a black GM
and a black quarterback,
I think that the symbolic value of that more in this particular league and what it means in sports right now is tremendous.
Yeah,
and I think it's not a small thing.
It's pretty clear that George took to heart some of the conversations that he had with Lamar Campbell, that he had with Sam Acho about some of these things. And I applaud him for maybe looking past some blind spots and saying, we haven't actively been biased, that we haven't actively been trying to keep people out, but perhaps we can open our eyes.
We haven't been aware of what our preconceived notions may have been and our comfort zones may have been.
Right. Or, these are the streams that we're used to being in, and now we get a chance to swim in some other ones.
It's official. The Bears have sent out this release. The Bears on Thursday named Kevin Warren as their new team president and CEO. Warren, 59, boasts 21 years of experience as an NFL executive with the St. Louis Rams, Detroit Lions, and Minnesota Vikings, and most recently served as commissioner of the Big Ten Conference. Warren replaces Ted Phillips, who's retiring after 40 seasons with the Bears, including the last 23 as president and CEO. Warren becomes the fifth president in the franchise's 103-year history, following George S. Halas, George Muggs Halas Jr., Michael McCaskey, and Phillips. The first black president in Bears annals and the first president and CEO hired from outside the organization. Here's the first quote that we've heard now from George McCaskey.
Okay.
Kevin is a man of integrity, respect, and excellence, all of which are critical core values of the Chicago Bears. We welcome his perspective and diverse thought to lead this storied organization. He's a proven leader who has many times stepped outside of his comfort zone to challenge status quo for unconventional growth and prosperity. In this role, Warren will serve in the primary leadership position of the franchise to help bring the next Super Bowl championship trophy home to Bears fans.
Okay. So Warren is quoted in here too. He says, I am honored and recognize the responsibility bestowed upon me to lead the Chicago Bears during this exciting and pivotal time for the franchise. I look forward to building on the rich tradition that started with George Halas and connecting with the unique and vibrant fan base in Chicago. I joined the Chicago Bears with gratitude and drive to carry out and build upon the legacy and spirit of this founding franchise and my predecessors. This is a franchise that is respected in all of professional sports, and I am humbled to be selected as the next president and CEO of the Chicago Bears. I sincerely thank Virginia McCaskey, George McCaskey, and the McCaskey family, Ted Phillips, and the search team for the responsibility and trust placed in me to lead the Chicago Bears and deliver championships to Chicago.
Say it. Put it out there.
Ryan Poles said, Kevin is going to be a tremendous resource, and I'm excited to get started with him. In my time spent with him during the interview process, it quickly became apparent his resume and business acumen will be a powerful asset to helping improve our organization and ultimately reach our goal to be a championship organization, close quote.
Now let it roll.
Yeah.
Because he's going to go in that building and say, oh, boy, do we have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
And money to spend.
The Bears will introduce Kevin Warren at a press conference at Haugh Hall next Tuesday at noon, according to our guy, Kevin Fishman.
Yes.
What?
It's noon.
Oh, it's our show.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, so we'll have that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there it is. The Bears have a new president and CEO. His name is Kevin Warren. He used to be the commissioner of the Big Ten. He used to be the president of the Minnesota Vikings. He helped build the stadium in Minnesota that a lot of people really like and dig, including Bears ownership. And now he's going to have the opportunity to do that here.
I thought you were going to end it with, there's a new sheriff in town, and his name is Reggie Hammond.
Well, yeah, we could also do that. But, I mean, that can be Kevin Warren or Ryan Poles or Justin Fields. Bunch of new sheriffs in town.
Throw the shot glass through the mirror behind
and the
bar.
sheriff's
No, What'd he say?
He said that the sheriff's
He said the sheriff is near. No, you heard the sheriff.
You've never watched Blazing Saddles. Watch Blazing Saddles.
He's about to have a Laurel and Hardy handshake.
Yes. So yeah, these are exciting times. Like, here's what I think is really interesting about all of it is for forever, Jerry, forever. We've been asking the Bears to act as if they are a big time multi-billion-dollar corporation instead of kind of the cute mom and pop,
an international multi-billion-dollar corporation.
And they have centered themselves as a mom and pop organization. Like when they talk about themselves, they don't talk about themselves like the Rams, for example. They look at themselves as the Maras or the Rooneys, being connected to those families. And there is a quaintness to the way that the Bears have gone about their business and having a matriarch like Virginia McCaskey there that whole time. But now what we've seen over the last 12 months with the Bears was them looking at their organization and saying, this ain't it. We don't have to run like this. We're the Bears. Instead of just wanting every laurel thrown their way because they're the charter franchise of the NFL, it's time to start acting like it. You get Pace and Nagy up out of here, and then you say, all right, what does our vision look like going forward? You hire Ryan Poles. He hires Matt Eberflus. You've got this kid quarterback that is out here doing crazy stuff. And then when the opportunity arises, when Ted Phillips says, I've had enough, I've gotten you this far, I got you the Soldier Field thing, I've made you all this money, I've had enough, then you go and actually do a search. And the search didn't end in the building. They went and found, I don't know who else was on the list. I've heard a couple of different names. Some I was like, really? That's not a good idea. But the fact that they opened up this search to look and say, where is their maximizing of profit? And I know that we are not necessarily supposed to look at it that way, but they are. And hopefully the maximizing of profit also has a trickle-down effect to the winning part of it.
I think it's more than a trickle-down effect. I think that there's a symbiotic relationship that they understand, that Warren certainly understands.
I hope so, but that's still facts, not in evidence. But what is in evidence is that They are changing the way that they do business. And that's all Bears fans have wanted them to do. Stop being the quaint mom and pop shop. Start acting like you are in Chicago. You're the third biggest market, and you could argue the second biggest NFL market. Stop acting like you're just some corner store and be a boss, be a bully. And now I think they're better armed to do that.
A couple paragraphs here from Adam Johns' story in The Athletic. The Athletic learned that the Bears cast a wide net. They included candidates from various sports, including the NFL, NBA, MLB, college athletics, and even professional soccer in Europe. Video conferencing was used, but the Bears narrowed their search in November, and fewer than 10 candidates were invited to Haugh for interviews. Fewer than that were brought back for second meetings with the team in December.
Good. That's the way that it should work. You should be turning over like every single stone that you can. You should have called Theo Epstein and said, hey, man, listen, I know that you got this whole thing that you're doing with baseball. We saw what you did with the Cubs. We'd just like to talk to you.
What would it take?
Look,
what do you think?
Can we get some of your ideas in here? Whomever it is that you are drawing inspiration from, you sit down and they impress you. When I think about the possible executives that they could bring in, it's hard for me, without knowing, obviously, but it's hard for me to imagine a better resume. I don't know the guy, okay? But it's hard to imagine a better resume than Kevin Warren's.
The quote here that I will reiterate from George McCaskey that really I think is significant. He is a proven leader, is Warren. This is George McCaskey, who has many times stepped outside of his comfort zone to challenge status quo for unconventional growth and prosperity. Outside his comfort zone, challenge status quo, unconventional growth and prosperity.
I want to speak to that because that particular paragraph there checks with something one of our guys said. Dan Wiederer was on with us earlier this week, and he was talking about what he would expect from a Kevin Warren presidency.
You talk to people that know Kevin, you talk to people around the league, and there's a belief that his interest level is very high in this position, and that the things that he believes that he could do to transform the standard and the culture and the push to turn this organization into what I think we all agree it deserves to be is high. And so that, one of the words that was used to me was pressure, that Kevin would put a pressure inside the building that would be a healthy pressure for people who appreciate production, right, and appreciate the pursuit of production. And so it's going to be really interesting to kind of see where this goes in the coming days/weeks and where the Bears land and then how they explain it. But certainly there's a sense in a lot of league circles that they couldn't do much better than a guy who's already very interested in the gig.
Pressure. That's one of those things that Bears fans have looked up at the way Haugh is run and goes, is there accountability? Do people have their jobs just to have their jobs?
Yes.
What would you say you do here?
And I do think that there is going to be some of that. I do think that Kevin Warren is going to look to see where there are some redundancies in job title, where there are some redundancies in functioning jobs.
And not to save money, not because he's trimming the budget. Say, well, why don't we lose this, and instead have this, and this? Because this is how we need to do things.
Right.
Well, that guy's always been here. Well, not anymore.
Right. He's always been here, but what is his value? What is her value?
What is their value?
What is their value to this organization? Is the value that they're just here? Or what do they produce? These, I think, are questions that he's going to come in with and try to get some answers to. And I think all of that is a positive. There would have been a couple of candidates had they hired that I think I would be as happy. But I keep going back to what does the president of the Bears going forward need to look like? He needs to have experience in building a new place because that's clearly what they want to do. He needs to be someone who is versed in the language of rights fees. He needs to be versed in the language of streaming and where the viewing technology, the consumption technology is going. That person has to have a working knowledge of that. So anyone that you hire has to be able to do that. Plus, and how football works, how the NFL works. He checks every single one of those boxes.
And the cultural vibes are just great. I love the texting, the tweeting, I should say, from Shakia Taylor at the Tribune. She said, know that the Bears' history with diversity is not so great. This shift feels sudden to me. To go from an organization that couldn't get out of its way and looked like they simply were not interested in black people in positions of leadership to this, what's cooking over there? Who woke up one day and said, F it, let's ride?
Yeah. I think that there are two people that I know have had impact, and I mentioned them earlier.
George.
With George, Sam Acho and Lamar Campbell. And I give credit to George for opening his eyes to what may have been just, this is the way that we've kind of always done things, and we haven't really thought that we weren't doing it out of spite or racism. We just were ignorant. And now we're going to open up candidate pools to see if we can do better. And you have to applaud them for the hire. I remember I was hiking in the desert listening to you and Layla talk with Jack, with Reed Jack, about the history of it. Like when we were discussing those 1932 jerseys that had never been worn by black players and that the Bears themselves didn't know that. Like think about that. You had these throwback jerseys that they still throw out there at least once a year, and the chairman of the Bears didn't realize that those uniforms were during a time when the NFL was doing segregation and that black players hadn't worn them until the black players wore them a couple of years ago. That's where we were with the Bears as an organization 3 years ago. And now we're at a place where they've hired a black president, a black GM, and have a star black quarterback.
Hurry up! Get those flags up! He'll be here soon! Hey! I just got a telegram from the governor's office. The sheriff will be here at noon! Noon? I better rehearse my speech.
You better.
You better figure some stuff out.
Figure a whole lot of stuff.
This is cool. It really is. This is a big day.